Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena. Something exciting happening today. We have an update, and Ravnica Allegiance, the new card packs, the new series has been released, so we're going to take a look at that today.
We are at the threshold of a new age.
Did you think death would free you from your obligation?
When the system fails, we will balance the scales. This is cruel territory now!
Get ready for the freak show!
What is there to fear? This is what we've been preparing for! The end race is upon us! Your skull will make a fine trophy.
Hopefully not my skull. So we're going to take a look at this new Ravnica Allegiance, and the best way I think is to do a draft and check out some of the new cards that pop up in the draft. Oh, it's not available yet. Well, we will do that when it is available. I didn't notice the counter. So looks like it'll be available this weekend. Or tomorrow, actually, and I'll take a look at this tomorrow. See, are the packs out? Click on the right thing here. Yeah, you can buy the packs now. It might not be a bad idea. I do have some coin I was going to use to draft, but I may use my gems and get some of the packs. We could do sealed Ravnica Allegiance, but that's 2,000 gems, and I just don't have the gems to do it. Yeah. So I'm interested to see these new cards. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna buy a couple packs with the coins I have, so that's gonna get me 5 packs. 2, 3, 4, 5. We could afford another one when we complete the daily missions. But let's take a look at some of these cards, because I've never seen any of the cards in this. I've purposely been staying away from the announcements about the release of the Ravnica Allegiance as to not spoil the new cards for myself. So we're going to look at, maybe that's what we'll do today's video. We'll just take a look at the cards in these 5 packs that I got. So it may not be a long video this time, but we'll do a draft when it becomes available. So I got Swirling Torrent, costs 6 mana, and you can do one of 2 things or both things. Put target creature on top of its owner's library, or return target creature to its owner's hand. So that's not bad, I guess. 6 mana, and I can return pretty much 2 creatures from the field. Pretty effective if they had some guys on the field and I wanted to get rid of them, so I could swing in for an attack, and I could get rid of 2 guys on his side of the field. Clear the stage. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's another card that does 2 things, but it is expensive. So I'm seeing a theme so far in high cost but multi-tiered cards. They can do multiple things. Mammoth Spider, it's just, this is an old card. It's just a new, it looks like new artwork for the card. A 3/5 spider with reach, so it can block flying, but it also costs 5 mana. So again, with the high cost, but again, you get what you pay for. 3/5 creature that can block flying. Senate Courier is a flying blue owl bird creature, but it costs 1 colorless mana and 1 plains, and Senate Courier then gains vigilance until the end of turn. So good if you're planning to attack with it, I guess. I don't think It's a 1/4 for 3 mana. I don't think this card is great. I do like the artwork on it, but paying extra mana to give it vigilance for 1 turn, I don't see it being very useful in the long run. I could be wrong. We could actually really like this card for some reason. Thirsting Shade, one mana creature with lifelink, not bad. Pay 3 mana, and Thirsting Shade gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. The good thing about that is it's 3 mana, and you can keep on repeating that process. So if you have, say, 9 mana on the field, you could tap all 9 and give it +3/+3, and then it becomes a 4/4 creature, and you only spent really 1 mana to get it on the field. So if you have nothing else to do that turn except beef him up, it may be worth it. Not bad. Get to the point. Red-black instant for 5 mana is destroy target creature and scry 1. And I'm not impressed. It could go with, like, if you wanted like a carnival themed deck, it would probably be okay in that, and that would clear the stage. Just expensive cards though. So destroy a creature and scry 1, okay. But for 5 mana, I'm not sure that's very practical. Now we'll see what the rare is on this pack. Immolation Shaman. Vyashino Shaman. Whenever an opponent... I could probably make it bigger, can't I? No, I can't. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land that isn't a mana ability, Immolation Shaman deals 1 damage to that player. That's great if you're up against one of those stupid decks that like to keep tapping artifacts and stuff, like Icy Manipulator is one that I really hate. Where the artifact, they tap it and spend X mana to tap a creature on your side of the field. It kind of gets annoying. Or pay 5 mana, Immolation Shaman gets +3/+3 and gains Menace until the end of turn. And Menace means that they have to block it with 2 or more creatures, or they can't block it at all. So, not bad. Then it would mean it would become a 4/6 creature until the end of turn, and has to be blocked by 2 creatures. And it only costs 2 mana to get out on the field, so not a bad card, actually. I think that's good. That's probably why it's a rare. It's pretty decent. Let's open another one. Let's start at the bottom this time. Bottom right side. Persistent Petitioners. It's 2 mana to cast it out there. Human creature with a... Spend 1 mana and tap this card. Target player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard, so decent for milling decks. Tap 4 untapped advisors you control. Target puts the top 12 cards of their library into their graveyard. And a deck can have any number of cards named Persistent Petitioners. So this is kind of like the rats. I forget what they're called. The rats, you can have multiple copies of the rat colony, and you're not limited to 4, so kind of the same deal. So Human Advisor, I wonder if the text in there, tap 4 untapped advisors, will count any advisor cards. Like if there's another card that's an advisor of some kind, if that counts as an advisor for that ability, or if you have to have 4 of the Persistent Petitioners out there for it to count. Because that second ability of tapping 4 untapped advisors to make them discard 12 cards is great for a mill down deck. And milling decks, historically not the best decks to play, but really obnoxious to play against. Ill-Gotten Inheritance is a 4 mana card enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, Ill-Gotten Inheritance deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So, a long con kind of card. You put it out there and hope they can't get rid of it, and then they're on basically a 20-turn timer. They gotta beat you in 20 turns or they're gonna lose. Or they have to have a way of gaining life back Or spend 6 mana, sacrifice Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It deals 4 damage to target opponent, and you gain 4 life. So really what you need to do is you put it out there, or multiple copies of it out there at once, and you let it tick away health until they get low enough that you just hit them with that 4 damage and they lose. Not bad. I think it's a little pricey, but not bad. Sphinx's Insight. Draw 2 cards. Addendum, I think, is a new mechanic I haven't heard before. If you cast this card during your main phase, you gain 2 life. So I think Addendum, this spell has an additional effect if you cast it on your main. So that's the new mechanic. Casting it on your main phase. So it is an instant and can be cast anytime, but you gain a benefit if you cast it on your own main phase. Not a great mechanic, I guess, but that extra benefit helps. So, kind of seeing the theme in this new series of cards where it's high cost, multi-ability cards. Like I said in the last pack I opened, it looks like a lot of these cards can do 2 things, but they cost so much to put out. Prying Eyes, 6 mana, draw 4 cards, and discard 2 cards. That's not good. There's so many draw cards in Magic Gathering that you do not need to spend 6 mana to draw 4 and then have to discard 2. You could just play Divination and draw 2 and not have to discard anything. And that only costs 3 mana. So, that Prying Eyes, not impressed. You can stay common. I'm not sure why that needed to even be a card. Arrester's Zeal, instant for 1 mana. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. And then Addendum. If you cast the spell during your main phase, that creature gains flying until... So, not a bad card for 1 mana, honestly. It's a battle trick. But you give up the battle trick, the surprise of playing this card as an instant while you're attacking because you want to play it during your main phase, so you give away what you're trying to do by doing that. So the question is, do you want to give your creature +2/+2 and flying, or do you want to surprise your enemy into maybe blocking this creature and then hitting them with +2/+2, not getting the flying? So I mean, it's kind of utility. You could give it flying and fly over their defenses and hit them with that extra 2 damage, and maybe that wins the game for you. Or you want to kill one of their creatures and fool them into blocking a weaker guy and then boosting them up with this. So there's a lot you can do with that. It's a pretty good card, actually, for a common. Another swirling turret. We don't need to see that again. Silhana Wayfinder is an elf card. First elf I've seen in a while. When Silhana Wayfinder enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put them on top of your library. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So pretty much for 2 mana, he's a 2/1, not that great, but he'll let you kind of pick what card you pull next out of the top 4 cards of your library. So say you're getting mana flooded and you're able to see the top 4 of your deck and it's 3 more mana and a creature. You could put the 3 mana on the bottom of your deck because you don't need them, and then you'll pull that creature next turn. Let's see our rare. Priest of Forgotten Gods. Human Cleric. 2 mana to bring out. He's a 1/2, or she's a 1/2. Tap and sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. You add 2 mana and draw a card. Okay for a token deck where you're spamming the field with cheap tokens and stuff. I could see that in a vampire token or sapperling token deck, or a deck that utilizes really cheap creatures that you want to get sent to the graveyard to beef up something like a Golgari deck of some kind. Next one! I just want to, like, open up my rare right away. I'll do it. Aw, bummer. But that's okay, this is a good card. I'm okay to have a duplicate of it. Ministrant of Obligation has... He's a 2/1 for 3 mana, meh. But he has Afterlife 2, so when this creature dies, create 2 1/1 white-black spirit creature tokens with flying. So, that's okay. That's alright. Like, put this in with that other card I just was talking about, where you can sacrifice 2 creatures and cause all that kind of chaos on his side of the field. So, have this guy block, and then bring that guy out, tap him, sacrifice your 2 spirit tokens, and mess his day up. So, not the worst card, not the best card. Vindictive Vampire. Whenever another creature you control dies, Vindictive Vampire deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. So, kind of like other vampire cards I've seen. And this would work very well along with Ministrant of Obligation and the other one. I can't remember the name now, though. I just was talking about it. Of killing creatures on your side of the field, causing chaos on his side of the field, but then also gaining this bonus ability of dealing damage to them and gaining life whenever a creature dies. So, there you go. Not bad. I can see a lot of combinations with these cards that I'm pulling. I want to go over here. We already know Thirsting Shade. Fairy Duelist. I think we've seen a Fairy Duelist in previous iterations of the cards. This one's Flash Flying. When Fairy Duelist enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -0 until the end of turn. The only good thing about this card, otherwise it's complete garbage, is that it's Flash. So you can play it like an instant. So what you do is you attack or you defend. And you're attacking or defending a creature with probably a weaker creature. But then you play this and you knock down the attack of that creature. So maybe your creature then survives and ends up killing the other creature and still remains on the field. So it can turn 1 defense or attack around in your favor. Other than that, not great. Kind of garbage. It has flying, yes. It's a 1/2, meh. But it could change 1 battle. That's it. Blade Juggler. I'm seeing a Carnival-based deck in my future. I'm going to be making a Carnival-based deck, and it's probably going to need to rely on getting a lot of mana on the field very quickly, because everything so far that's been Carnival-based has been 5 or more mana. And this is also a new game mechanic, Spectacle. I've never seen that before. So, Blade Juggler is a 5 mana creature. Human Rogue, 3/2. Spectacle costs 3 mana to play that ability. You may cast this spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. Not bad. You can actually get it out for 2 mana less if you cause them to lose life that turn. So not bad. And then when Blade Juggler enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. I'm not a big fan of causing damage to myself, but 1 damage and you get to draw a card and you could cast it for less than its actual printed cost. So yeah, it's not bad for a common card. And I like the artwork. I think that's pretty cool, so do that. Of course, yeah, I like Burmac. I like his artwork. I don't think I've seen anything of Burmac's I don't like. Mitru Burmac. One of my favorite Magic artists. Gift of Strength. We have different iterations of this all over Magic, and I don't think this is a new... this is new artwork, but it's not a new card. This is an old card. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach until the end of turn. self-explanatory. It's for 2 mana. It's a good battle trick. Open the gate, search your library for a basic land card or gate card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library great card for only 1 mana. You can get extra land out, or extra land in your hand anyway. Not a bad card. It's only a 1 level card. It's kind of, you could draw this, or you could just put an extra land in your card, in your deck. So you kind of got to think, unless you got something that maybe you're playing a red-green deck and you put out a, I can't remember the name of it. There's a goblin that causes damage anytime you cast a sorcery spell or an instant spell. So it could help with that. But, I mean, honestly, I'd rather just put an extra land in my deck. I'm already excited for this one. I love green-red. Simic Locket, we already know what that does. It's an artifact that you can tap to either add 1 green or 1 blue mana, or you can spend 4 mana to sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. It's a pretty good artifact card if you're running a Simic deck, or Merfolk deck even works too. It's just expensive to bring out for what it does. We already got Sphinx's Insight. Sauroform Hybrid is a human lizard warrior for 2 mana. He's a 2/2, which is already good. A 2/2 for 2 mana is great. And then he has 6 and adapt 4. So if this creature has no 1/1 counters on it, put 4 1/1 counters on it. So he has the ability to become a 6/6 creature. But you can get him out right away for 2 mana and build up to the 6/6. As long as he stays alive. Other than that, he has no special abilities, so he's kind of one-trick pony there, but I like the artwork. That's pretty cool. It's supposed to be some kind of like lizard-human hybrid. Rafter Demon. I don't like black-red decks. I don't like playing against them, and I don't like playing with them, but I do want to build a carnival deck, and this is probably going to be a card that ends up in it because of Spectacle, but they're just so expensive. Everything in red-black so far has been so expensive. So he's a 4/2 for 4 mana. His defense is kind of lacking. But he has a Spectacle of 5. You may cast this spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. I don't... Okay, he has a special ability that if you pay his Spectacle cost, each opponent discards a card. Not the best. It means you're paying 5 mana to get him out on the field rather than 4. And because you paid 5, that causes your opponent to discard a card. Okay, I mean, if you're gonna play him, you may as well play him for a Spectacle cost and make that happen, but he's not that impressive as a 4/2, and his ability is kinda Rubble Belt Runner. Rubble Belt Runner. I think I've seen this card before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of Rubble Belt Rhino. Anyway, he can't be blocked by creature tokens. So perfect to play against a deck that you know has creature tokens in it. But that's kind of situational. You'd have to like know that you're going up against the deck with creature tokens in it. So it's okay. 3/3 for 3. So he's alright, and then just add in that ability. If it takes effect, that's cool, but if not, then you still got a 3/3 for 3 mana. Flames of the Raised Boar is an instant. Flames of the Raised Boar deal 4 damage to target creature an opponent controls. Then Flames of the Raised Boar deals 2 damage to each other creature that player controls if control a creature with power 4 or greater. So if you have a strong guy on the field, this can be devastating to your opponent. Not only does it deal 4 damage directly to a creature, it'll then deal 2 more damage to every other creature that the person controls. So if they have one guy on the field that is like a 4/4, and then he has a whole bunch of 1/1 tokens on the field, you could wipe the whole field out. High Alert is an enchantment for 3 mana. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. We have a dinosaur that does that in green. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. So perfect if you're playing a Defender heavy deck. And pay 4 to untap target creature. And this is an enchantment, so it could stay on the field indefinitely until it's destroyed. They have enchantment removal. Not a bad card, especially if you have a lot of creatures that have higher toughness than an attack. Home of the Guild Pact. Whenever you cast a multicolor spell, draw a card. That I see myself building a deck specifically with this as its centerpiece. Add 1 mana of any color. It does cost 5 to play, which is very expensive, but at the same time, I really like it. You can draw a card anytime you cast a multicolored spell. And in Magic Gathering, if you didn't know, playing a creature is considered casting a spell. Anything you do really is considered casting a spell. So I would build a completely multicolored deck. Everything would be multicolored. I would have 4 of these in my deck. I would get as many of them out as I could, and I would just keep hammering multicolor. Keep drawing. I would want to put Reliquary Tower in my deck too, because I would want an unlimited hand size and just keep drawing. There's another artifact card that I would put in there. There's actually a couple I would put in. So I'm going to build that deck. When I have 4 copies of this card, I'm going to build that deck and I'm going to showcase it in one of my videos. You're going to see what I mean. It's going to be terrible because it's going to rely on a very expensive card as its centerpiece, but it's going to be fun. So we're going to showcase that, and I will showcase a Carnival deck as well from this series of cards. Also, leave a comment down below if you're watching this video. Leave a comment and give me ideas for decks you guys want to see me build. I'll build theme decks, I'll build randomly hodgepodge decks, and I'll take them on a test run. You tell me if you want me to build a specific deck with specific cards, or if you want me to put together a thematic deck, like say you love the mermaids, or you love the pirates, or you want to see nothing but flyers, or you want to see nothing but insect cards, whatever. I'll build it and I'll showcase it. I'll give it some FaceTime on the channel, and I'll give you a shout out as well for giving me the idea. But I'm interested in building some wacky, funky decks, and I want to know if you guys want to see that. So just leave a comment below if you'd like to see something like that, what you want to see. Sphinx of New Prov. Obviously it's a Sphinx, so it's going to have flying. It's a 4 mana creature. Usually Sphinxes are fairly good, and this one looks like it's okay. For 4 mana, it's a 4/3 with flying and vigilance, so already good. And spells your opponent's cast that target Sphinx of New Prov cost 2 more to cast, 2 more mana to cast. So great. Just make everything more expensive that targets it. Rakdos Trumpeter. If you didn't know what Rakdos is, it's the red black deck is Rakdos. Every color combination has a name to it, has a guild name to it, and Rakdos is black-red. So Rakdos Trumpeter is Menace. He's 2 mana, 1/3. Pay 4 mana. Rakdos Trumpeter gets +2/+0 until end of turn, so he can boost himself up. And it looks like if you have enough mana, you can keep doing that indefinitely. You could give him +4 or +6 or +8. So, not a bad card, especially since it has Menace and has to be blocked by 2 creatures. Get to the point we already saw. Savage Smash. 3 mana, target creature you control gets +2/+2 in the end of turn, and then it fights a target creature you don't control. Fights. You're forcing your creatures to do damage to each other, so one creature on their side of the field and one creature you choose will deal damage to each other based on their attack, but you're giving your creature the advantage by giving it +2/+2, so not bad. It's kind of like Pounce or Savage Stomp. Blade Brand probably will end up in the Carnival deck, of course. He's a 2 mana instant. Target creature gains Death Touch until the end of turn, and then you draw a card. So it's an instant card, which means you attack, your opponent defends with something that could flat out stomp your guy, and you hit this Death Touch, and then when they attack or block your creature, they die. They just die. So, great card. Plus, it adds in the fact that you get to draw an extra card, so I like it. We already saw Rebel Runner, so I won't waste your time. Stomping Ground is a multicolored land. Stomping Ground enters the battlefield. You may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So, I don't like dual lands where they make you pay 2 life to untap, to keep it to put it out untapped. I rather have the ones that let you put it out untapped if you control, like say you control a forest or a mountain, then that dual land would come out untapped. I'd rather have that than this one, honestly. I don't want to give up something to do it. So while we're opening cards, let's open these. I've been saving them up. We already know most of what these cards do. I won't read them out, but I'll check the rares, and I'll let you know what the rares are. There's one that's really good. Oh, Temple Altasaur. I have 1 copy of this. Now I have 2. Perfect. I love this guy. If you remember the one draft I did a little while back, this one saved my butt quite a few times. It stops all but 1 damage from any dinosaur I control, so it pretty much makes your dinosaurs invincible. That's not bad. Get a mythic. I can trade that in for any mythic I want. Izoni Style's nice. I have all 4 copies of her. Beast Whisperer, I already got all 4 copies of that. Ritual of Soot. I don't get good ones. I already have like every single card in Guilds of Ravnica, so the only ones I'm missing are the Planeswalkers. I don't have every single Planeswalker, so I'm not really impressed with that. So what I can do here is we'll go to build a deck. We're gonna filter all cards that I have not collected from Ravnica Allegiance. And it's going to show me all of the cards in Ravnica Allegiance. And I'm going to unlock a few because I have some tokens to play. I can unlock a bunch of these guys. And I want to unlock them from green because that's my favorite color. So I'm going to use my tokens to unlock green cards. I'm going to go through the green. Cerulean Caretaker is a defender, 1 mana, tap to untap a creature you control and add 1 mana of any color. So, okay, I read that wrong. Tap and then tap an untapped creature you control. So you tap Cerulean Caretaker and another creature to make 1 mana of any color. Not good. Not good at all. That's terrible. Tapping 2 guys to create 1 mana. Stony Strength. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control and then untap that creature. Wonderful instant card for 1 mana. That is a beautiful card for 1 mana because not only is it a battle trick and you could change the tide of 1 battle, you're also untapping that creature. So you could attack with a creature and then it gets blocked by something and you could save your creature by giving a 1/1 counter. And you do, and then you untap it so that it can also block next turn. So pretty good. Pretty good card. Might actually unlock that one. I know it's a common, but I'll unlock it. Growth Chamber Guardian. This one is the one that was shown in the video for this new series. Elf Crab Warrior. He's a 2/2 for 2 mana, already good, with Adapt too. If this creature has no 1/1 counters on it, put 2 1/1 counters on it by paying 3 mana. So he could become a 4/4 for 2 mana, and whenever 1 or more 1/1 counters are put on Growth Chamber Guardian, you may search your library for a card named Growth Chamber Guardian, reveal it, put it into your hand. So you could have a whole bunch of these guys hitting the field. Boom, 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 boom. Plus, start having a bunch of these in your deck. When you hit them with those 2 1/1 counters and they search for 1, and then hit them with another 1/1 counter and they'll search for another. I don't know how many of these I have, so I'm going to save them. Incubation Druid. Tap. Add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a 1/1 counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead. That is a wonderful... These are great. I like that adaptability, and I like these abilities for 1/1 counters, especially since you have instant cards that put 1/1 counters on creatures. That's a rare as well. Hold on, let me do something real quick. How many do I have? I have 2 rares, 2 mythics, 4 uncommon, and 10 common that I can pick. I really want to get a couple of... I want to get all 4 of these, and I want to get all 4 of these. Root Snare. We've had a Root Snare before. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. There's a card in older versions of Magic called Fog that does the same thing. It prevents all combat damage that would be done, but it only costs 1 mana. Territorial Boar. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, Territorial Boar gets +1/+1 and gains Vigilance until the end of turn. That's not bad if you're playing a deck with a whole bunch of beefy creatures, then every turn he would get +1/+1 and Vigilance as long as you keep playing guys. Titanic Brawl. This spell costs 1 less to cast if it targets a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. Target creature you control fights that creature you don't control. Oh, target creature you don't control. That's good, especially if I'm playing a deck where it relies on all 1/1 counters. So, a whole bunch of these, a whole bunch of these, a whole bunch of these, Stony Strength, and then a couple Titanic Brawls to make them fight each other. Tower Defense. Creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain reach until the end of turn. That's good. It affects all creatures I control. So if they're swooping in with a whole bunch of flying guys, I could stop them dead in their tracks. No problem. This card right here. Perfect. Love it. Keep it. Want it. Gatebreaker Ram. Cool artwork. I like that artwork. Gatebreaker Ram gets +1/+1 for each gate you control as long as you control 2 or more gates. Gatebreaker Ram has Vigilance and Trample. So if I had 4 gates, or more gates, depending on how many colors of mana my deck is having, I could have 16 gates or more. Unlikely that I'd have that many out at one time, but for example, let's just say I have 8 gates. He becomes a 10/10 creature with Vigilance and Trample for only 3 mana. Sagittar's Volley. Destroy target creature with flying. Sagittar's Volley deals 1 damage to each creature with flying your opponent controls. Pretty good for only 3 mana. You can. It's kind of like Plummet with an extra ability. So Plummet, I think, costs 2 mana, so this costs 1 more mana, but it has that additional ability. You could knock out a whole bunch of flyers if you had some 1/1 flyer tokens on the field. Steeple Creeper is a frog snake. Gains flying until the end of turn for 4 mana. He's cool looking. I like the artwork, but Sylvan Brushstrider. When Sylvan Brushstrider enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. Not a bad ability for a 3/2 for 3. Axebane Beast. He's a 3/4 for 4, and that's all he is. Enraged Ceratok. Enraged Ceratok can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. He's a 4/4 for 4. Can't complain about that. Gruul Beastmaster. Gruul is the green-red guild. So if you see Gruul, that's green-red. Not my favorite color combination. Or, oh no, that is my favorite. Black-red is my least favorite. That's Rakdos. I don't like Rakdos. Gruul I like. So this one has Riot, and I think that's a new one I don't know. So he's a 2/2 for 4, which kind of sucks. But then Riot. Creature with Riot enters the battlefield with your choice of 1/1 counters. With your choice of a 1/1 counter or haste. So that's okay, I guess. He could become a 3/3, or he could have haste and attack right away. Whenever Gruul Beastmaster attacks another target creature you control, gains +X+0 until the end of turn, where +X is Gruul Beastmaster's power. So I could give another creature +2 or +3 or whatever I chose. A decent card, I guess. Guardian Project. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. I don't know how I feel about that. Rampage of Clans. 4 mana. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 green centaur creature token. It's an instant. I could see this being very handy if you had a whole bunch of creatures with, like, enchantments on them. And, you went to attack and your opponent countered it. And then you just played this instant card and destroyed all of them and made them all 3/3 creatures. I don't see... Well, all artifacts as well. So you could have a lot of artifacts on the field that were doing nothing for you and then turn them into creature tokens. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. That would be beautiful in a blue-green deck with a lot of counter cards. It's an enchantment, so it takes place at the end of each of your end steps. You would untap all lands that you control. So you can play anything you want during your turn, and then untap all your lands at the end of your turn to open you up for using counter cards. So like cancel or any counter cards that you might have in your hand. Love it. It's a good card for green-blue, but I hate playing against counter decks. Not great. Biogenic Ooze. enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green ooze creature token. At the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 counter on each ooze you control. Pay 4 to create another. Wow. That is a token factory. I'm gonna. The sound effects for that were just nasty. I'm gonna buy that because for 5 mana it's expensive, but dang, its abilities are great. Rampaging Rendhorn is a 4/4 for 5 with Riot. We already know what Riot does. You can either give it a 1/1 counter or haste, so not bad. You can make it a 5/5 for 5, or you can give it haste and make it a 4/4 creature that can attack the turn it's summoned. Regenesis. Return up to 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Why? Why 5 mana? I don't like it for 5 mana. I like it, but I don't like it for 5 mana. You have a card called Recovery for 3 mana, I think, or 2 mana, and you can pull a card from your graveyard into your hand. But this one gives you 2 for 5 mana. It's expensive. Trollbred Guardian. 5/5 for 5 mana with an adapt. An adapt lets you put counters on them, plus 1/1 counters. This one is adapt 2, so you can put 2 1/1 counters on it for 3 mana. And each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has trample. So you play it, and then the next turn you hit the adapt, and it becomes a 7/7 with trample. So that's quite good for an uncommon. We're gonna pick that one up. Biogenic Upgrade. 6 mana, distribute 3 1/1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures. Then double the number of 1/1 counters on each of those creatures. We're gonna buy that one too, because for a 1/1 counter deck, you're gonna need that. Wrecking Beast, Riot Trample, 7 mana, he's a 6/6. He can become a 7/7 or have haste, plus trample, not bad. Expensive, but not bad. End Raise Forerunners, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. Costs 8 mana, he's a 7/7 with Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. When End Raise Forerunners enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance, Trample until end of turn. So Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. You could win the game with this card. You really could. If you had enough mana, you could play it and hit them with everything you got and just trample through their defenses. Cinder Vines. Okay, we're out of just straight green. I don't want to go any further now. I want this guy, sure. And I want this guy for sure. I do want multiple copies of them. I can't get multiple copies of them right now, but I'll be working towards multiple copies of both of those. And I want as many Stony Strength as possible, I think. Yeah, I want a few of those. So, let's see. What else out of what I read do I want? I like the adaptability. It's good for a Simic deck. So Simic is green-blue. So I may be doing a green-blue deck in the future. I'm going to be looking through these cards offline. I won't be going through all of them in video format because that might get tedious. I don't think you guys want to see that. But I'll be going through them. I do want one of these counters flying. I won't be going through all of them in video. That would be tedious. But I'll go through them on my own time and see which ones I really want and I'll try and see what kind of decks I can build with these. And I'm going to be unlocking a bunch of these cards. I will be drafting this format as soon as possible when it becomes available. Get some more cards from this format into my collection and build decks off of it. Because I think some of these cards are pretty exciting. I can't wait to try them out. And I'll let you guys see what I can do with them. But we'll save that for another video. And until then, this video, I think we're going to be wrapping this one up. So I will catch you in the next video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what kind of decks you want me to build. If any of these cards speak to you and you want to see them in a deck, let me know. Or if you want to see me make a completely random and discombobulated deck, let me know. And I will look into it. So I'll catch you in the next video, guys. See ya.